Hello, Joseph.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi
Thank you
there.
for contacting us. May I know if you speak Mandarin or you prefer English?
Prefer English if you don't mind.
Oh, thank you. So first of all, let me introduce our team. Lee is our business development manager, and Erin is our account manager, and Stephen is our engineer. And thank you for joining the call today.
Beautiful, thank you. Hi everyone.
Thank
Hi,
you.
thanks, Charlotte, for your introduction. And hi, Joseph. I'm Erin. Nice meeting you here.
Nice meeting you all.
Yeah. And do we need to wait for your other team member, or you're okay to we can go ahead already?
Yeah, my other team members are not available, so I think we're okay to go ahead. I will just share with them after the call. Yeah.
Sure, no problem. And I've heard actually by Lee, she has contacted you before, and she has mentioned that you reach out to us, would like to understand the Cloudflare enterprise plan.
Yes.
So yeah, so maybe you can give us a little bit of the background brief and introduction of your company as well. I did a little bit research. I saw your two looks pretty helpful for my work, but yeah, but maybe you can give us a little bit more
Sure thing.
background understanding so that we know that's what is your concern or what we can help you with.
100%. So for us is we are ContactOut. So we are a data intelligence tool. Basically, what we have is contact information that we provide to recruiters and sales teams and sales representative of so that they can reach out to candidates and to their prospects as they are going about their day, so that they can sell better as well as recruit better. And we have contacts of over 300 million people around the world. In terms of our users, we have close to about 2 million users who have signed up with us. So we get roughly about, I think right now, if I look last, it's about 1 million to 2 million kind of web visitors a month to our website. So yeah, hopefully that gives you an
Okay,
understanding.
so you are more like a SaaS solution to the company, or you are like a LinkedIn, let's say like
Gotcha.
a LinkedIn type of website that everybody can log in and can utilize.
Yeah, good question. So for us is we are a SaaS platform. So we have a bunch of tools. One is a Chrome extension, so you can use on top of LinkedIn to for
Ah,
recruiters or sales rep to go to a LinkedIn profile and review contact information of that individual, as well as like do a bunch of other things like sending them email campaign, or revealing the information about them as well, or generate some AI messages or icebreakers as well. In addition, we also have a search portal on our website. We have a web app where we have a search portal. So it's a little way of our own database where our users can search through the different type of people that they are looking for. So it's kind of LinkedIn, but we do have some data that is outside of LinkedIn as well. So we do it over there. We also have an email campaign too, which we send out. So basically, it's an email campaign tool that people can send email campaigns. After they have reviewed the contact, the next logical step is for them is to contact the other person, the other party. We also have a data enrichment tool. Basically, if people have a bunch of LinkedIn profiles or they have a list of criterias, they can, or company names, for example, or company domains, we can put into our data enrichment tool and get a list of enrich the data, right? Enrich that list. And then last but not least is our API. So we have our API tool, which links to all of the different services that folks can do on the front end, but this obviously does it on the back end at scale.
Okay, that's quite a lot of combination, and it seems like you can use either web-based or SaaS-based or even the API, making the API calls. So Thanks a lot for the business overview and definitely help us to understand like how is your business like. And so one thing I've noticed is that you have already utilized Cloudflare for a while, but it's more like on the free version or the pro version.
Correct.
And may I understand that what drives you to reach out to us would like to understand a bit more about our enterprise plan?
100%. So I think for us, as we are using the current plan, as the company grows, the traffics and everything has increased quite a while. Plus as well, there are a bunch of our users as well are spam, and we want to kind of make sure that we want to try to prevent a lot of this issues. We also want to explore the other features of what Cloudflare can offer, and so that we can start to consider, especially at the start of the year, we are re-looking at all of our tech stack and kind of making sure that we are optimized and we are making the best use of each of the software. So Cloudflare is definitely one of them.
Thank you. That's very good to hear. And I've seen that your users are actually quite spread out across the world. And for you, I understand, what is your major concern, or what would you care the most? I mean, performance-wise, or reliability, or the security side? Is there any current issue you are facing that you need someone to help?
So I think in terms of the reliability side, definitely. In terms of the uptime, that is something that so in some instances we do have downtimes, which is not good, especially if it's during here in Singapore, in Asia, our nighttime, and then in America is the daytime. That is not good. So that do happen where we are not active and then we are asleep and then the service is down. That is not good. Next one is security. So we do have a number of spam users and like users from weird domains who are signing up. Obviously, they are trying to get the free data and everything. But having so we do have like some protection in place to prevent, but we can never get filter out majority of them. So we're trying to look at, is there any other solutions that can help us improve that, because all of this does impact the business in terms of data leaks or corrupting our own data as well. So we want to kind of make sure that is of tip-top condition.
Okay. I think on the security side, it sounds like, I'm not quite sure. That part I will leave Stephen to make an introduction later.
Sure.
But it seems like our rate limiting or bot management could help a little bit. But about the downtime, definitely this is something we are good at. We have like over 300 pops all over the world. So our priority is to make sure that our customer is 100% online. There's no downtime and extra. Those marketing words, I will skip that. But we do have a really vast network infrastructure to make sure that the customer is 100% uptime.
Beautiful.
And so I think I have asked most of the questions, and thank you for giving us all this information. And the way I would like to conduct this meeting is after I have a little bit understand of your business, maybe we can proceed to the enterprise plan to give you an introduction on the technical side, so that you have a brief understanding of how enterprise plan is different than the plan you're using now. And so what are the advanced features, or what are the different features that we have on the enterprise plan which might help you. And after the technical introduction part and is over, and you have asked your questions, you have evaluated this enterprise plan, then we can proceed to have a discussion about my favorite part is talking about money, and how we would proceed to the next step.
Sure thing.
And then I think that is basically the structure of the meeting today. How do you think?
Sounds good. Yep.
Okay, then I think I will pass it on to Stephen, and he will give you a technical introduction. And since you're already a Cloudflare customer, you have been used for a while, we will skip those, marketing part, like who we are, where we are from, how many employees we have, how many big brands we have, yada yada yada. I think I will make it more straightforward and save you time to ask Stephen to do a more like a more detailed sharing on the technical side. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, you feel free to ask anytime at the meeting. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, Stephen, pass on to you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Joseph and Irene, for the introduction and the information provided. Right. So, to me, from the technical perspective, it sounds like some common problem faced by the popular websites. Right. So, as long as you have some maybe free gifts or free money given to the prospects, so there will be some bots or some malicious programs they are trying to register large amounts of accounts in short time just to get this kind of gifts, right? So that's the number one step for these guys. The number two is most likely they can get some sort of interest by browsing your website or sending some spam mails to your maybe contact forms or something similar. So they can make some damages to your website, right? So maybe these malicious actors are your competitors or some hackers just for fun. So no matter who they are causing some damages to the business, right? So just to make your customers not that happy, or your services maybe impacted by this kind of guys, right? So I think so far, based on what we understand right now, so I think our application protection services should be very helpful to resolve the problem you are facing now. So I would like to just start with some very high-level introduction, what we can do for this kind of traffic, right? So no matter they are generated by the bots or they are generated by some humans at a very fast speed. Right, so I think Joseph, we already know that you have a lot of websites hosted on Cloudflare, but they are at pro or free websites. So you may not aware what we really offer to protect some advanced attacks. But here is the brief introduction about the layered defense to protect enterprise domains. So first of all, so the Cloudflare is famous for the DDoS protection against the different HTTP attacks. So that's for the foundational layer, right? So at least the website is up and running, right? Your users or end consumers, they can access your websites. So after running the DDoS check, so we will have some more sophisticated inspection of the traffic, like the WAF with relimiting. So we can relimit the incoming request based on their source IP, based on their country, based on their maybe some other fields like the payload or the cookies you set, your web server sets. Right. So that's how can we limit the resources one request can consume. But just make sure that your valuable resources only spent on the real customers, not the crawlers, not the bots.
Yes.
That's number two, right? Number three is about this kind of bot management. Of at least we should detect and tell you who are bots, right? So are they hacker tools, or they are search engine like the SEO agents, or they are your normal human users, right? So we have some database fingerprints and some intelligence. So we can tell you who is more likely to be a bot, right? So who is more likely to be an attacker, right? So we by using these kind of tools, and we will provide you a very straight way to identify, right, by giving a score, a bot score. So the higher the score is, it's more like a human. The lower the score is, they are more likely to be the bots, no matter they are good or bad. So we will add another database of the good bots, so you can red list, right? So at least the Google search engine, they will still index your page. When you pay the SEO, you will also get all the benefits after implementing the bot management solutions. Right. So I also heard that you have some API endpoints.
Yes.
Right. So if you want to implement some positive API security, by that we mean that we can help you to validate all the incoming requests against your API schema. So anything does not conform to your schema, we will drop at the edge. Right? So by this way, you can make sure that only valid API requests can reach your endpoint. That's the number 3 point. We can have to protect your endpoints.
Beautiful. Sounds great.
Yeah. So the last two, I think you are very familiar, right? So we can also monitor which kind of JavaScripts are loaded to your user's web browser, so that you can monitor either someone inject any malicious code into your user's browser in the middle, right? So, but maybe by local ISP or by local infected software. That's the client side protection. The TLS, I think you already use or free certificates, or you can upload your own certificate to protect all the traffic.
Nice. Awesome. Yep.
Yeah. So I think in 5 minutes, I just want to show you, right? So we have this kind of different layered protection. But so it may sound a bit abstract. So I just want to give you another quick introduction of how these tools actually help you to identify those bad guys, and which kind of solutions you can have after upgrading the domains, right? So this is the Cloudflare dashboard, right? So I have a testing domain here. So I have force tab here, right? So there are two very helpful information here, right? So the first one is this traffic profile and the score for this kind of request, right? So the higher the score is more like the human. This is a testing website, so normally only myself doing the test, right? Not so many human users. Most of them actually are the bots on the internet. They are trying to crawl what I posted on this website, and some of them come from the search engine, right? So these are the normal traffic profile for a testing website, right? So if you host your production websites, you will have most of your users on the right-hand side. You will also have maybe a certain portion of your incoming requests in this range, right? So these guys are harmful, and that's what we want to protect you from, right? So by looking at this profile, you know actually roughly how many of your resources are spent on the real users, right? So how accurate is this, or how can we take action after we identify these guys, right? So first, we're at the very first level, right? So we have different ways to identify these guys. The first one is heuristic. So we have some intelligence, we have some fingerprints of this kind of hacker tools. As long as we see them, we will label them as the hacker tool. So they will get a very low score. So you can easily filter out those guys, right? So we have other ways to tell actually these are real users, like if they are use a Safari or Chrome, right? So these are the valid browsers, and we can identify and label them as human user, right? So if someone use some, let's say, uncommon browsers or from some unusual IP addresses, they may see something in between. So we can challenge them in the next step, so that you can at least give them a chance, right? So if they can pass the challenge, they are users. You can let them in. So if they cannot pass, they are bad guys. You can just block them. Right? So that's the normal logic we implement for this kind of incoming requests. Right. So one very simple way or very straightforward way after you use this tool is that we have this kind of fingerprints. There's a JS3, the name is the JS3 fingerprints. It's captured during the TLS, the SSL handshake. So this cannot be changed if the software remains the same, unless they make some updates to the software. Right. So let's take this as an example. Right. So if normally we block those bad guys by the IP addresses. Right. So this is true, or this is helpful if they use a single IP. Right. But if they use different IP addresses, it will be very difficult to track and check these guys. So let me see whether I can find some example. Right. If we have some more items. Right. So there are really some guys. They are smart. They are using some hacker tools, but they will change their IP address very frequently. So it's really very tough to track them using IP addresses. And they say, here it is, right? So the fingerprint is the same, but they keep changing their IP addresses all the time, right? If you try to check them by IP addresses, it's very challenging because the IP address, they will only send, let's say, 30 requests and then run away, right? You cannot tell 30 requests is a malicious behavior, right? But from our perspective, they are coming from the same tool, right? They are coming from the same malicious actor, right? So by blocking this fingerprint, you can block all of them, no matter which IP they use in the near future. So we can help you to block them, right? So that's the philosophy. We use this single tool to help you easily identify and block these guys.
And is this done on a manual basis where I filter and exclude these fingerprints, and which results with the IP, or is this something that we can put a script in and it's automated? For example, if I see a fingerprint that comes from 10 different IP address and that is auto block. Yeah,
it's up to you. So normally we do two recommendations using this tool. The first one is we can set up some baseline using this fingerprint. Let's say your normal users, your legitimate users only send, let's say, 100 requests per minute, right? So let's say if that's the baseline, so we can set up some baseline using the fingerprint. One single fingerprint cannot send more than 200 requests per minute, right? Every single user or every single fingerprint sending more than that, that's malicious, we can challenge them, we can block them. That's the baseline, right? So no single one can consume too much, right? That's the BAU, right? So you have a baseline protection for all your resources. And if your operations team spot anything unusual like this, right? So if some single fingerprints, they consume too much, you can block them, right? So you can either by receiving some alerts that somebody is attacking you, or you can get the raw log from Cloudflare and monitor all these kind of fingerprints using your existing theme, or you can write some script to monitor the fingerprints. We can follow all these kind of things to you if you wish.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So that's because the most challenging way is to identify them. After you identify them, it's much easier to protect. I think that's my understanding of how we do the defense. Right? So if we can tell the good guys from the bad guys, the next steps are pretty straightforward.
Gotcha. Understand.
Yeah. So that's the identification stage. After you identify them, so we can go back to the WAF, right? So we can implement the relimiting, right? So based on the fingerprints, based on the IP addresses, no matter what you want, right? So in the WAF rules, you can also challenge them based on the score. Let's say we normally recommend two numbers. So any request under 30 score, we will block them. Right? That's a very confident level. Anything above 80, so we can let them in. Right? Something in between. Right? There are something between 31 and 79. So as a baseline, you can challenge them. Give them a challenge, a very simple challenge. If they are using a real browser, within 1 second they can pass, and then the user experience is not jeopardized. Right? So you can just give them one more time, one more chance to get in. Right? So there should be no complaint as long as you don't present some captcha to them.
Gotcha.
That's all what we understand.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So in terms of this kind of large amount user registration, right? So we can do some relimiting based on your use case, right? So because some other customers from a different industry, let's say for some crypto or from e-commerce, they face the same problem, right? So some scripts that register maybe 10,000 accounts at the same time, but we can do the relimiting based on the very specific field within your API or request. Right, so I'm not sure how you normally handle the incoming registration requests, right? So let's say if your request, your registration request contains some email field,
yes, correct.
we can relimit based on the email, right? So let's say one single Gmail can only register one account, or a Gmail, all Gmail users can only send 1,000 requests per second to a server. So we can do something like that, right? So we can do the inspection within your API request or within the HTTP request body.
Gotcha.
Right, so that should be very powerful for you to specify which item you want to relimit. Right, so either email, mobile number, country, network, right? So something you understand and something you can identify.
Gotcha. Yeah, for us, I think it's mostly email, but I think it becomes tricky when we have multiple, especially because we sell license and it's sell to the whole recruitment team or the recruitment agency or a sales team. It's usually more than one user, but it becomes a bad actor if we recognize the email is gibberish. If it's a Gmail and it's some gibberish text, typically that we kind of sense that that is a spam user. We kind of block it ourselves, but it's quite we still can be more efficient in that process, I would say.
Yeah. So because your current plan, so you can only limit by IP addresses, by the network, or by country, right? So within this advanced features, you can actually limit per JSON string, maybe some your header field. Right, so I think that's maybe more helpful for the operations team to identify actually which kind of unusual header value is being used, right? So, or we can do some relimit based on the token or some string, other string you assign to each legitimate user.
Gotcha. Yep. That's good.
Yeah, I hope that so far the bot score and relimiting are helpful for you to identify and try to restrict the impact to the normal operations.
Yeah, I think it does. Is there any how does the Cloudflare nowadays, with a lot of these bot threats, they're getting smarter and smarter. They try to mimic human behavior, even if you put a catchy system there, and there's a lot of this AI power they can just bypass. So is there anything other that Cloudflare is doing to kind of prevent some of this investment in these AI bots?
AI bot, you mean they pretend to be a real user?
Yeah,
right?
so they pretend to be users. Sometimes when they are trying to enter certain interviews, or you're trying to match the graphics, there are certain software out there where we see that they can mimic human behavior, be it a delay or be it a dwell time.
I personally did not see this kind of use case, this kind of scenarios, because for us, we only do the identification at the HTTPS layer.
Gotcha.
Right? So I really don't care about what the real use case behind this kind of AI-based bots. But from our perspective, what we leverage are the fingerprints. Right? So as long as they are using the same set of tools, their fingerprints is visible to all our data centers globally. Right? So by combining all this kind of intelligence, we can do the research, we can do the analysis. Once we add this kind of fingerprints into the global database, everyone using this service, they will be able to identify them.
I see.
At least we can challenge them to make sure that they are real users. Right? So for the AI bots, I think they can pass some of the checks. The application layer checks. But in terms of communication, they still have a pattern, right? So because in terms of the machine languages, the IP, TCP, and the TLS handshake.
You can't hide away from
These
that.
fundamental ones, they cannot change. They cannot discuss easily.
Yes. Yep. Okay. That's reassuring to hear.
Right. So, any other question you want to ask in terms of the use case, how we do it layer by layer or step by step?
Yeah, that would be helpful. That would be helpful to hear as well. Yeah, just to give a better understanding.
Yeah, I just want to add one more on the API part, right? So we have this API shield built in the same dashboard. So there are mainly two ways for protection. The first way is if you already have some endpoints, you can add them. So we can help you to monitor the average or the overall latency and the error rate, right? So this one looks healthy, right? So at least on average, people can get around 125 milliseconds for this API, and the error rate is low. If you are not very sure, right? So for some companies, they may have very quick iterations of the APIs. So just in case, you have some API exposed to the internet, but that those kind of things are not well documented. So we can help you to discover. So if there anything you put onto the internet, but they are not in the documentation system, so we can observe which kind of API endpoints are being called by the users, and they also get 200 OK messages from your servers.
Gotcha.
That's a loophole for the whole platform. The other one is we can do the schema validation, right? So we only allow the request to conform to the schema. Any other thing we will drop, right? So just make sure you won't receive any malicious request to an API endpoint.
Gotcha.
No.
Cool.
So if you go ahead.
No, sorry, just cut you. Yeah, continue, please.
Yeah, so there's some additional features we can enforce, like the sequence for the API request, right? So if you have defined the workflow, how the API should work, let's say the first request to using the username password to get a token. Second thing is use a token to query the schema. The third one is to use a schema to query some data. So we can also enforce this kind of sequence, right? If someone got a token somewhere else and try to use that token to query your database, so we can block them because they are not following your well-defined API sequence, right? So maybe the token is stolen, right? So, or someone share the token, right? So we can also enforce those kind of policies.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I think in terms of the current challenges you shared with us, I think these three products should be very helpful for you to at least reduce the surface of this kind of attacks, or help to reduce the waste on those kind of malicious register.
Gotcha. Yeah, it definitely does sound like, because in terms of our API, we do put it out there where folks can check it, and it's quite public unless they want to do any checking of the actual contact information. So yeah, it's helpful for us. Just wondering, how does Cloudflare handle API rate limiting and abuse prevention, so that I can understand, like, when there's excessive API requests, how can we mitigate or handle it or manage it?
You mean API abuse? So those APIs are REST APIs, right?
Correct.
Yeah, for REST APIs, actually, the rate limiting, we can already handle that. So let's say if every API request, you should have some key or token or ID built in, right? So we can relimit based on that ID, right? So once the counter is reached, we can block them for a while before they can resume their access, right? So you can also let's say I think this photo shows how it works, right? So we will constantly monitor the API request based on your criteria, or a combination of criteria here, right? So let's say based on the IP address, let's say that's the IP address and which path or which host they are trying to call, host name, or any other one you want to set, like the body size, right? So once, and what's the characteristic, right? So let's say they come from the same IP, or they come from the same cookie, or the same, I'm not sure. which kind of value you want us to inspect.
Gotcha.
Right? So if they have the same, let's say, user ID, right? So we will count against the user ID, and once they reach the limit, let's say 100 requests per 10 seconds, then what you want? You want to block them? And normally for API, you can only block them, right? So just block them for which kind of error code you want to provide.
Gotcha.
Right. Normally it's just for 29, right? So just let them know you are exceeding the predefined rate limit. So please slow down. And how long you want us to block them? 10 seconds, 2 minutes, or how long? You can define it.
Makes sense.
No.
Cool. All right. So this is, it sounds like it's a rule that we can set up. Okay, cool. That's good to know.
Yeah. For API, I think normally it's just to give the error code. For the other, let's say, like for human users, you can customize the HTML, right? So ask them to have a rest before they make a next request.
Yeah. To make sure there's even fair usage. Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So all of these kind of things you can do your own combination, right? As long as the value, this kind of field is available on your dashboard, you can do a combination of them.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool.
By this, I mean, let's say for human users, you may set a relatively low threshold, right? Because people can only go that fast, right? So for the APIs, let's say for your tier 1 customers, you may set a higher threshold. Maybe for some lower plans, you can set a lower threshold, something like that, based on your business logic.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, because with every contract, we do have limits that is predefined with the client, the customer. So yeah, we can adjust it accordingly. Cool. That's good to know.
Yeah. So I think my technical introduction is here. So any other questions you want to ask?
No, the last one is just if we decide to move forward and kind of do this, is there training and support available so that, once my engineers come in, my tech come in, that they can always kind of ask and seek help for after the sales and just help them to onboard with all these services, like how things works.
Yeah, I think this part is better for me to answer
Beautiful.
because we have different tiers of enterprise customers. And so the top tier is called premium customer that requires a minimum expense. So for that one, definitely we will provide you with an onboarding session, which is one-to-one with our CSM and your CSE. So, but there is a minimum cost requirement, I think about 10,000 expense per month. So that is for the premium tier. And so we have enterprise tier, which we will have an onboarding session, but not really as a one-to-one format. We have a lot of webinars recorded. We have online resources, and you get access to, so that you can refer to all those resources and all those documents. And we got forum as well. We have a customer center that recorded all the webinars we hosted. So that are more like you can learn from, but there is no one-to-one guidance.
Gotcha.
But of course, we can reach out to the CSM if you have specific questions or you're unclear about certain tools. How should I use this, and could you please give me some advice? Then should go find a rotated CSE to help you to answer your questions. Right, so these are basically two tiers. So there will be two different ways of onboarding and of your post-sale services, we call it.
Gotcha, makes sense. Yeah, sounds good. Just wondering, in terms of, I'm not sure if you all have encountered customers similar to like us in terms of the data industry, where the size of requests and traffic is quite a bit. Do you have any case studies or like to kind of share in terms of the impact of how your services and what value how you have prevented an incident for them. Kind of give us a bit of reassurance.
Stephen, do you have any use case similar?
You mean the use case for this kind of relimiting and bot management?
Yeah. Especially if you have one that is specific to the data industry, that would be great as well. Yeah.
Data industry. Let me think about how. I'm just thinking any of this kind of a customer, they really come from the data industry. But how about the other industry like
The industry is not specific, because you're more like a right? So
guys, excuse me. One of your competitor, Joseph, should be Zoom Info.
Yes.
It's our enterprise customer as well. But their traffic and billing are much higher than our standard enterprise plan. We can't deploy more information at this stage for other enterprise customer, but I can guarantee you with our enterprise customer and with very peak billing and traffic.
Makes sense. Cool. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Just maybe I share some other things like there are some other types of data like the property guru in Singapore, right?
Yes.
So their property information is their company's most valuable assets. So those things are protected by Cloudflare. So we help them to identify and block those crawlers from copying their information from their public websites.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one of the use case. The other thing I can share is some very large some exchange information. Like I'm sorry, they captured by the customer, but using Chinese.
No worries.
Right. So that's 24 hours. Right. So from 1 a.m. to another 1 a.m. Right. So the number of incoming requests is 1.16 billion. Right. So around 80% of them are actually bots, they're automated. Only 30% they are humans, right? So you can imagine, right? Without the different bots, how many servers you need to set up to accommodate the 1 billion requests within 24 hours.
Yes.
Right. So by using this, we help them block this kind of unused ones, so they only need to focus on the real consumers. So you can ignore the other.
Beautiful. Yeah, this is great. Great to hear. Yeah, we just want to kind of look at the size of the traffic if there's something similar. Yeah, it's good to hear that your work with Zoom Info makes more than enough sense. Yeah, and then if this example also helps. Cool.
Yeah. No problem.
Great.
So on the technical side, Joseph, do you have any other questions?
Not for now. If I will have any, I will follow up with email with my colleagues as well.
Of course. So I think those are the major different providings we have compared to the free plan or pro plan you are currently using. But on top of that, it's not the only difference because there will be too many to cover in one meeting. Yeah. So other than that, I think something worth to point out is on the performance side, as you mentioned just now, we actually serving with how to say, if it's a very busy hours, we will serve enterprise customer as a priority, right? So some of the traffic might have to be routed out from the busy pops during a busy time.
I see.
Yeah, and also you will have log push and the SSO, and there are quite a lot of differences that the customer choose business enterprise plan for. But I can send you a summary of the comparison.
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the major reasons that the customer move to enterprise from the different plans. All right. And I think those are more on the technical side. So let's move on a little bit to the commercial.
100%.
So yeah, you have mentioned that you would like to evaluate different software, different vendors and providings this year. So can I have a little bit more understanding about your project timeline, your budgeting cycle? Give me a little bit understanding of this background.
Sure thing. So in terms of this, we are looking within this quarter. So by end March, if there is a solution that that fits our requirements, then yeah, we would love to kind of invest in one. So yeah, that hopefully answers yours.
So you would like to complete everything within this quarter and finalize it, right?
Yeah, if possible. Yeah.
Okay. And about budget, for a solution like us, do you have a clear budget in place?
No clear budget for now. I think now, like most vendors, we are just going around asking in terms of the services provided, the reliability and the trust. Obviously, if we are a user of yours, so there's some preference towards this, but we still want to kind of make a well-informed decision, and thus we are speaking to other vendors as well.
Of course. Other than us, who else are you talking with now?
There is CloudFront, there is Google Cloud, there is these like a few. We're still kind of narrowing down what would be a good. We're trying to arrange meetings with them as well.
Of course. So for our licensing, let me give you an idea. Just now, I just mentioned about the premium service, right? So that one is like minimum 10K, that you will have the one-to-one CSE, CSM, no extra fee. And I have a little bit understand of your traffic. So currently, the traffic you put on Cloudflare, that's all, right?
Yes.
Okay. So based on the data we can see, then I think 10,000 could be can include everything we mentioned just now, plus the premium service. So that's a fixed fee for 12 months, and no additional costs, no hidden costs like a lot of vendors do. I won't name who that is, but that's pretty straightforward. So that will include the advanced security feature we mentioned just now, API Shield, rate limiting, bot management, premium service, CDN, DDoS, WAF. So those will be all included, plus the enterprise domains. We can upgrade all your domains to enterprise domain.
Awesome. Okay, got you. That's clear.
That is one tier. The other tier is if you choose not to subscribe the premium service, then that means you don't have a named CSM, you don't have a named CICE, but you do have the CSM CICE support. It just you need to write email, and we will have to rotate it to CSM CICE. So we don't know who will be assigned on the day, but that doesn't mean you don't have any support, okay? So for that one, we have a baseline. So the minimum is $5,000 per month. And again, it's a 12 months minimum subscription required. And that will require, me to make a calculation, and to understand which are the products you would like to choose, because that might vary the price, the final price. So the core service is CDN, DDoS, WAF. That is like, you cannot exclude them. That is our core service. That is selling as a bundle. And on top of that, you can choose the product combination. Like, I do need the API Shield now, but rate limiting and bot management maybe later, not for this month. Or I can choose all of these security products, and also on top of that, I would like to have maybe, for example, Argo, which is our to help to improve your performance, because you do have a quite spread out traffic. Or on top of that, I need some load balancing, so there will be a product combination there that the final price might not be $5,000, it might be higher, but it will be lower, because 5,000 is the minimum subscription fee for enterprise plan.
Got you. Beautiful. But it's reassuring to hear that there is a customization available as well. Yeah, because not all of the features we will need it. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So how does that sound to you? I mean, which way you prefer?
I have to check back again, but I think definitely the enterprise makes sense. But we have to check back in terms of, is there any other things that I have been missed out in the request? But yeah.
Of course. So what I can do is I can send you a quotation form that includes the products which I think might be relevant for you.
Yeah.
And I will list those out. And you can tick like, okay, this one I really would like it to be included in my quotation. Or some of the product you can tick as optional. You can just fill in the form like, okay, this one is optional. I may need, I may not need. It depends on my budget. Okay.
Yeah.
But the other ones you can say like, okay, this one, please include it. And the usage is like, how much every month, so that I can provide you with a more accurate quotation later on.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds exactly what I need. Yep.
And how would you like to move next? I mean, other than the quotation form, is there anything you would like to understand from us? Is there any, further assistance you need?
Having quotation form helps. I think that will do for now. Yeah, I think if you've got any questions, I'll follow up with email with my colleagues as well.
Of course. And by the way, you are based out in Singapore, right?
Yeah, I'm based in Singapore, but we have, so we are a fully remote company, so there's no HQ, there's no office. So we have colleagues from all around the world, from 20 countries, so yeah.
Wow.
So it's a little, but yeah.
When you need to coordinate with your colleagues, and
yes,
there's so many differences.
Yeah, so it is what it is. So
okay,
yeah.
that's why I can't find your office address.
Yeah, there's no office address. So in Singapore there is. It's just mostly for my CEO and myself, but we have colleagues from all around the world. So it's literally almost every continent except the Antarctica and Arctic. Every other continent, almost. Yeah, we have colleagues working there.
It sounds like I feel like I would like to join a company like this. I mean,
don't let your boss here. We enjoy us working here. Cool. Great. This is very helpful so far. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. And so one quick question, because you're based in Singapore, I'm based in Singapore as well. So maybe we can grab a coffee sometime next week.
Yeah, a bit tough, but yeah, because I'm busy. My meeting is quite full up next week. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, my schedule is a bit tight. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No worries, myself. I will keep on asking you. Just
no worries. Sure thing.
Yeah, and also, do you use WhatsApp? I won't message you, I won't spam you, but just in case if there is anything urgent or if we need to connect quickly, so that will be more convenient.
Sure, but yeah, usually I try not to. But yeah, there is. I leave it mostly for personal, but yes, yeah.
Of course, I promise I won't spam you. Okay.
Okay.
If I try to reach out to you via WhatsApp, that must be something urgent.
100%. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. Okay, no problem. So you are using. Bailey, I remember you did mention you got the WhatsApp number, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I sent several messages on WhatsApp to you.
Do you? Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, so like as you know, I'm not very responsive on WhatsApp, so yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that proved, okay.
Yeah.
So we will try our best, because I would prefer to use email as well, so that I can keep track
100%.
of the conversation and everything, right? So don't worry, I won't disturb you much.
No worries.
But make sure that it's another available way to communicate with you, and also in case you would like to reach out to us urgently. All right.
100%. Thank you.
Yeah, I will share the form with you later after this meeting. Maybe I need to discuss with Stephen as well to see what other services we need to include in the quotation form.
Beautiful.
But other than that, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, and we can, after the quotation is out, then we can have another discussion on the quotation, and also to properly address your potential questions.
Sounds good. Beautiful.
Another one quick question. Because you mentioned you don't really have a office address or and so on. So let's say we sign a contract.
Sure.
Then how shall we proceed? which entity you would like to use?
Sure. Could be one in Singapore, or do we have another one in Hong Kong? So either works. Once we come to that, we will see. Yeah. So we have 2 official addresses in Singapore as well as Hong Kong. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Cool. Beautiful. Thanks. I didn't drop off already. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, everyone. Really, really helpful.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks,
Okay?
You
Joseph.
too. Enjoy your weekends. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.